Hi, it's Jane Blundell. I've put this video together to show the process of creating a painting called Past Their Prime. It's a painting and drawing, or drawing and painting, depends which way you want to think about it. And it's of a subject that I've painted and drawn for a very, very long time, since I was a teenager. So these are dried Strelitzia flowers, drawn from life and built up into a composition. So I lay them on the paper, work out the composition, and then start drawing them in. I used a light line of pencil and then drew the detail in with a fountain pen. So they're built up little by little, one at a time, putting in the line and then adding the colour. And you can see them sitting on my desk. The first wash went in around the first set of flowers, and then I added the next set of flowers on top of that. And then added another wash, which I then darkened later. The drawing's all done with fountain pen, and this one is an extra fine gold nib, and it's a sailor. Working with the pen on watercolour paper, this is cold press watercolour paper, without any watercolour, the lines are very controllable. So I'm adding more details, and a slight pressure of the pen will make it darker. It's a very linear subject, so I'm looking for lines to follow. Once the watercolour's on the paper, the ink behaves differently. I'm using Diatramentus document ink here, which is in a brown. It's a waterproof ink, so once the watercolour goes on top again, it won't move. You can see some of the granulation of the watercolour in that original wash. There's a better look at the whole pen. Sailor nibs are incredibly fine, so an extra fine nib will create super fine lines. It can be a little tricky working on cold press paper, which has a bit of a surface with fountain pen, but I do enjoy them. And a little bit of extra pressure will just give a stronger line. Even though this is not specifically a flexible nib, it still, being a gold nib, has quite a degree of flexibility. This is a different nib. So this is a Falcon by Pilot, and it's an unusual nib that gives a lot of flexibility. This is a fine rather than extra fine, and you can see that with just a little bit of pressure it can go quite broad. So this is looking for the stronger lines to add. And where the paper has already been painted, the lines are going to be thicker. I always like to work from life where possible. You can look around the corners of the object and see exactly how it all fits together. So having it just sitting there and working to scale is something I really enjoy. I've drawn these and painted them and etched them and done all sorts of studies with the Strelitzia flower, both live and dried like this. It's a really fascinating subject. I have them growing in the garden and try and leave the flowers on so that they can dry out. Turning the nib over gives even finer lines. So working with a fountain pen gives you the range of thicker and thinner lines, which I really enjoy. So that's past their prime, watercolour and ink.